All right, Tyler Perry fans, we're going to be doing the top five Tyler Perry plays, stage plays. Now, keep in mind, this is just my opinion. I'm talking about how I feel about these plays, the good, the bad. That's why there's going to be a top five worst plays list. But I'm going to be honest here. When it comes to these lists, when I did the research and counted them down, I feel like there were more plays that I enjoyed than plays that I didn't enjoy. So I just want to say up front, completely my opinion. If you disagree, that's completely fine. Let me know in the comment section below how you would rank these plays. If not these specific plays, I mean, unless your list matches up with mine, but what are your top five Tyler Perry plays? Now, up front, I'm going to say that for the most part, I think these plays are pretty early on in his career in terms of, when he put them out on DVD and whatnot. So I've seen these plays more times than the newer ones, but I will say that the newer ones for me personally are most likely on the worst list because you can tell that Tyler Perry, and I've said it many times before, has been spreading himself too thin, where his plays that are on this list, you can tell, that's when he was really focused on the plays. So that's why number five is one of his first ones, Madea's Family Reunion. I remember when my mom first bought this from Walmart, we played this out. I mean, I can think of the first three plays I know she bought, Family Reunion, Class Reunion. I think the third one was Madea Goes to Jail, and then after that particular one, that's when she went back to get I Can Do Bad All By Myself and Class Reunion. But yeah, I know those are some of the first ones we got. But this one really does resonate with me because it was one of the first ones. But it was one of the ones where I believe Mr. Brown was in there. We had Cora, her two daughters, the abusive fiance. The music was pretty good. I think there was an auntie in there as well as the pastor. It was an overall strong cast for me. I feel like it was a very good story. It's funny because when you look at that play, it didn't have the best quality in terms of visuals and the camera work, but as time went on, it really improved. But for what it was, Madea's Family Reunion was full of laughs. I just love the fact when Madea's in the doorway of the screen door in the house, and her rubber boots are bouncing around, and she has the gun. What was it? It's like looking like a pack of Skittles. It's like, oh, look like a pack of Skittles. Then get ready to taste the rainbow, and she got the gun. What was it? Cora's daughter that was on drugs said that. Oh man. And then Mr. Brown, he was funny too. I think that's when he was playing basketball, and you saw how ashy his knees were. There was like gray paint on his knees. But I can't stop talking about it. I just love the music, and it was one of the few movies where I didn't fast forward through the songs because for the most part I think I enjoyed pretty much all of them except for one or two. But yeah, I think I actually listened to all the songs. It was a really good movie. So Madea's Family Reunion definitely was on my top five list. Number four is, ironically enough, Madea's Class Reunion, and I believe in an interview Tyler Perry said this was one of his least favorite plays because he feels that the story wasn't strong enough, and he really didn't put the time and attention that he felt he needed to in it. But to be honest, it's one of my favorite plays. I just love the jokes, the humor. Cora, you had Mr. Brown, you had the old woman who was like the maid at the place, at the hotel. Who else was in it? Well, honestly, it really wasn't about who was in it. It was more about it. Again, I just love the gospel number they had where, you had Cora, Mr. Brown singing. It was just it was a good time. I mean, yeah, there were multiple stories going on, so I could definitely see how the flow of the script wasn't his usual style. But the fact that he played Madea as well as the bartender, oh my God, he was hilarious. So Madea's Class Reunion, it was full of laughs, good fun. And Cheryl Pepsi Riley was in that one too. She played like the Yeah, like the prostitute. That's right, because Mr. Brown's wife from Family Reunion had died, so she got cremated, and she he carried her around in that Pringles can. So, and I know that Tyler Perry, when he was the bartender, he was kind of like took the can and shook it, and next thing you know, it boom, it fell open on Brown. He looked like an Oreo. So yeah, class reunion was hilarious. That's number 4 on my list. Oh man, I need to go back and rewatch those. I'm just laughing just talking about it, so I let you know up front. This is really a top 5 list. Like, I love these plays. Number 3. Wow. I had a hard time picking between number 3 and number 2, but The Marriage Counselor was a great story. I love the story. You have Floyd. Stephanie was in there. She played Becky, the assistant to the marriage counselor herself. Again, a movie with great, or a play with great music. It really had me laughing. Golly, I mean, I can't. This one was really good. I feel like, if anything else, if you haven't seen this play, at least see the scene where Floyd and I'm bad with names, but the mother of the marriage counselor, the one that stepped out on her husband, when those two are the marriage counselors, and then they have, like, the pastor and his wife who's a stripper, and then the guy who's like a mechanic and his wife who's a little overweight, when they have them, the 6 of them in the same room, and they have a musical number, like they're all singing songs, and Stephanie comes in and they sing Fire and Desire. Wait, I think that was the song. Yeah, I think it was Fire. Yeah. That you at least need to see that I mean, that movie, I mean, that play and that scene was just over the top hilarious. Floyd and his weed and whatnot. It was a good one. I can't see. I mean, I have a script. I'm literally looking at notes right now, but that isn't enough because I'm still in awe of how much I love these plays. And to be honest, I feel like The Marriage Counselor was Tyler Perry's last great play, in my opinion, because after this play, that's when I kind of fell off, because the more I watched the plays, the more I can tell, like, they really weren't as strong as some of his early work. So ironically enough, The Marriage Counselor falls right in the middle of this list, but it's the latest play he did that's on this list, just to let you know. Number 2, another favorite, Why Did I Get Married? I love how quote unquote Curtis Payne is like the father of the older character in this play, because his wife passed away, and pretty much, the family, the children, the younger generation, they come up to this cabin, like, once a year for a vacation, and it's kind of like a marriage retreat. And I just love the story. Again, music was good for the most part. I could think of like 3 songs off the top of my head where I fast forward through. I do know that Cheryl Pepsi Riley again was in here. She played the wife of the man that was cheating on her with Janine from House of Pain. That was another reason I really liked the play, because we had Curtis and Janine from House of Pain actually playing characters in the play itself. So TV show to play to TV show. I just love the dynamic. Overall, I felt like it was a very strong story. I watched it over and over again. Most of these, if not all, I have on DVD myself. My mom has her copies, of course, the originals, but then when they got like dirt cheap at Walmart or Target or whatever, I would just buy them for myself, since I went to college and moved out. So Why Did I Get Married? Strong start to finish, full of good laughs. And that's another thing too. On this list, a lot of these plays, for the most part, they make me laugh, but they are on my list because they overall have a good story. They have heart, good characters, cast members, music. So Why Did I Get Married? Definitely on my top 5 list. And to round it out, Madea Goes to Jail. I mean, enough said. The cast of characters from Madea to Ella, Sonny, and Cheryl Pepsi Riley, again, stunning actress in the voice. Curtis was in there. So yeah, this was the first time, if I'm not mistaken, that Curtis and Ella were together in a play before House of Pain. So definitely definitely a standout performance from those two. But what really sets this play apart was the fact that Tyler, when Madea gave the speech to Sonny, when he's depressed over the divorce from his cheating wife, and he just, well, excuse me, she just sits down to talk with him about the whole, how people in your life, you have to let folks go. People in your life are like the parts of a tree. You have the leaves, the branches, the trunk, the roots. And the thing is, this play came out, if I'm not mistaken, almost 10 years, if not more than 10 years ago. But in my news feed on Facebook, it sometimes pops up that clip where Madea's talking with Sonny, because what Tyler Perry wrote for that scene was just so damn real and relevant that it resonates with people today. And then, of course, the huge musical number that happens after that, we have, of course, Sonny was listening to some Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. And then Madea comes downstairs like, I know. You better leave the old tramp alone, like that. And then, he goes into the, the Spinners, It Takes a Fool. And then it's like, Barbara, this is Shirley. It's like the woman. Then Ella, sings, who was it? Ella sung the Clean Up Woman. And and then I think the white guy from the jail, he's saying the You Make Me Happy, This You Can Bet. And that was a great musical number. So I feel like Madea Goes to Jail, aside from the humor, the fact that it has scenes that are still relevant today in 2018 is what puts it over the top. And, looking at this top 5 list, I actually want to give some honorable mentions here. There are 4 I want to point out. I actually should have said this for number 1, but I just got so engrossed in the plays that I forgot about the script and just talked about how much I loved them. But in honorable mentions, the ones that didn't quite make the top 5, and I was going to make a top 10 list instead of top 5, but I couldn't find that play that would fit into the number 10 category. So I don't know why, but when I looked through the play listing, I wanted to think about what plays have I rewatched over and over again, which ones really got me going in terms of the story and the lessons taught. But I couldn't find 10, so that's why I did top 5, and I want to mention 4 honorable mentions. Number 1, Meet the Browns, a very good play. The only reason this didn't make top 5 is the fact that I felt like it was way too long. Like, literally, if you look at the time on Meet the Browns, you need to cancel your plans for the day. It is such a long ass play. It is funny, but it is just so long. I feel like it just ran on too long. Next up, I Can Do Bad All By Myself. One of Tyler Perry's earlier plays. Good play for what it was. Definitely not one I revisit all the time. It's I think I've watched it maybe 4 or 5 times total. It has its moments, but it really isn't like, gut busting funny, but it does have its moments. What's Done in the Dark, another great play. I believe Mr. Brown was in it. Cora was in it. Sonny was a doctor. He wasn't Sonny, but the actor that portrays him was in there. I think it actually has a setup for the Meet the Brown movie, because there was a woman that worked there who was a nurse, and her son was like on his way to become a famous basketball player, but he got mixed up in the wrong crew, just like in the Meet the Browns movie, and he got shot. And then his father was like, never present in his life, but he's like he's doing well for himself in his job, but he wouldn't give his son the time of day. But at the end of the film, where the son signs with a team, that's when the dad wants to become part of his life. So What's Done in the Dark definitely was a standout play. And then finally, the Haves and the Have-Nots. The thing was, I really compared it to the show, but the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, it was good. I think Hattie and Floyd were in it. It had a pretty decent story, and it just showed you about how faith, if you do the right thing, things will pay off in the end. So yeah, I feel like Meet the Browns, I Can Do Bad By Myself, What's Done in the Dark, and the Haves and the Have-Nots are honorable mentions on this list. And in regards to the top 5, from family reunion, class reunion, A Marriage Counselor, Why Did I Get Married, and Madea Goes to Jail. I just want to look at those real quick. For the most part, I think that The Marriage Counselor, Madea Goes to Jail, and Why Did I Get Married, in my opinion, I think the plays were better than the movie. That's just my thoughts on that. So with that being said, I had a pretty fun time talking about this video. And in the comment section below, just let me know what are your top 5 Tyler Perry plays. But be on the lookout, because I do have, unfortunately, the top 5 worst Tyler Perry plays videos coming out soon. So if you haven't done so already, I please advise you to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of my content.